Yo, my name is Cody A. Banks, and today I'll be showing you how I animate this character in Adobe After Effects. Okay, so hopping into Illustrator, here's the character that we're going to be using today. I already have a video out showing the design process, so if you want to follow along with that, feel free. The first step that you want to do when you're getting everything set up to animate is getting all your elements grouped together. So if you followed along with the design process video, you'll know that everything is pretty much grouped together already. You'll see the coat, the sleeve, the shirt, the buttons, ears, everything is pretty much grouped together. Only thing you need to note is I have the side of the glasses separated from the front of the glasses, and you'll see why once we get into the animation process. We're not gonna be animating the legs at all, so we can keep these all grouped together. So the leg is all one thing. Leg, sock, and shoe. Group that together, send it to back. Once you have all the elements separated and grouped together, you need to separate everything onto their own layer. So the step for that is going over here to your layer panel, click this, and release to layers sequence. And I'm just gonna drag this out here so we can see it clearly. All right, so now you'll see that everything is separated onto its own layer over here. And what you wanna do is select everything and drag it outside of this layer. And now we can just label everything. So we have the tattoo here, the lines and the hair. I'll label that hair lines. Head, and I capitalized the head because that's one of the more important elements that we'll be animating. There we go, everything is separated and labeled, and we're pretty much ready to go into After Effects. Okay, so once we have After Effects open up, you're just going to drag your Illustrator file into the project. We're going to do composition and layer size. And that'll automatically create a composition for you, so just double click on that and your file will pop up, and you'll see all of our layers are separated just like they were in the Illustrator file. So the first step in animating is connecting the elements together. So what I mean by that is the tattoo needs to be connected to the head. So when we rotate and move the position of the head, the tattoo will rotate along with it. So the way you do that is grab your tattoo, and here's your head. We'll actually change the color to red. This is why we capitalized head, just so it's a little bit more obvious, and we can also change the color of it so it's a little bit more obvious where that layer is, so we can find it easier. So tattoo, we're gonna go over here to the link, and we're gonna drag it down to the head. So hair lines, we can attach that straight to the hair. Buttons can be attached to the right shirt, so we'll have to find that layer. Buttons, bring it down to right shirt. Mustache can go to head. Left eye and right eye can both go to, we're actually going to attach that to the mustache, which might seem weird, but you'll see why once we get there. Glasses side, same thing, mustache. Earring can go straight to the left ear goes to head. Head top can go to head. Sideburn, head. Right eyebrow, left eyebrow can go to, let's put that also, let's send that to glasses side. Head will be attached to the neck. Right ear will attach to the head. Right, and we're gonna use the left shirt as the body rotation point. So we'll change that to yellow just so it stands out. You'll see what I mean by that once we get to that step. So the neck is gonna be attached to the left shirt. And we're gonna attach pretty much all the shirt elements to this element here. That's gonna be our main focus point. So right collar, left collar can both go to left shirt, left collar back can go there. Left hoodie, left shirt. Pretty much all of these are going straight to the left shirt. Headband's gonna go to the head. Ponytail can go to the headband. Right leg, left leg are not gonna move at all, so we can just leave those. They don't need to be attached. All right, and I think that's good. Everything is connected. We missed the hair. So hair can go to head. And over here you'll see where your layer is linked to, parent and link. So what we're gonna have our character doing is a little head nod, nodding his head to the beat. So we'll need to bring the audio in. We're gonna use this beat by Eldre. Shout out my guy Eldre, best lo-fi producer I know. We're gonna bring that to the bottom. And what we need to do is basically find the tempo of the beat. So we're gonna let it play.
Tired of intros.
So we're gonna drag our cursor over to right where the beat is about to drop, which you can see here in a waveform. And we're gonna hit Option, left bracket. So now we can drag that to the beginning of the composition. And we need it to go for a couple beats, just so you can do a couple head nods. So play it. And once you think you found the spot, you'll hit N, and that'll bring your loop to right where the cursor is. So we'll see if that's a good loop. It's off, so we gotta just mess around with it a little bit until you get a perfect loop. Like one more frame should do it. So 2 head nods. And that would be 45 frames is how long our loop is going to be. So we can actually just shorten the length of this composition. So go up to composition settings, and see our duration is 899 frames. We don't need that many. We'll just do, let's say 60. Okay, so once you have your audio looped up, we're gonna go to head, and we need to change the anchor point. So the way you do that is by hitting Y on your keyboard, and that'll bring up this tool, and just drag this anchor point to right about here, and that's gonna be the point of rotation. So we'll see if you hit R on your keyboard while head is highlighted, the rotation will come up, and if you drag it, you'll see his head is rotating right on that point. So that's how you get that head nod. What we can actually do is just make this loop 44 frames, because that's an easier, rounder number to work with. We can divide it by 4. So let's go ahead and make a rotation keyframe on the beginning, and then we'll add one at 11. We'll add one at 22, which will be the halfway point, and 33, and one at the very end. So what we need to do is go back to the beginning, highlight the first frame, the middle frame and the last frame, and we'll just give it a little bit of rotation down, do about 7 points, and highlight that whole thing. And we're going to easy ease these keyframes, so FN, F9, and that'll automatically easy ease everything, which smooths it out. So we'll see if that looks good. All right, that's a good start already. So now that we have the head animated, we can get going on the body. So that's where we have this left shirt layer. And we're gonna move that anchor point to right about here. So this is what that rotation looks like, the body movement. And we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the head. Keyframe on 0, keyframe on 11, keyframe on 22, and I'll actually show you a shortcut. So you don't have to keep making keyframes. We can just do the first and the third keyframes, rotate that just a little bit. We'll do 3. Easy ease that FN, F9, and then just go ahead and copy these last 2, go over to 33, and then paste them over there. So now we have rotation in the body and in the head, but it looks robotic when it's moving like that. So we want to move the keyframes for the shirt to the left a little bit. So the way we're going to do that is through an expression, and I have this expression saved in an Illustrator file, so I can just copy and paste it. Copy that, and I'll have this expression written out below in the description, so you don't have to type it out. You can just copy and paste it straight from there. So go over here to this stopwatch, option click, paste it in there, and then click out of the expression box. So click back up on this layer, and what we'll do is click rotation, so that will highlight each keyframe, and we're gonna drag everything over to the left 3 frames. So now it's gonna rotate a little bit earlier than the head. Cool, that looks good. Once the body and the head rotation is animated, we can do a little bit more with the face, so it gives it a little bit more of a 3-dimensional look. So we're gonna give it a little bit of position keyframes. So we're gonna do the mustache, which everything on the face is attached to the mustache. So we can just move that and everything will move along with it. So same keyframes, 0, 11, 22. I'm gonna select the first one and the third one, and we're gonna drag it to the left just a tiny bit, and we'll copy and paste these 2 to the end and easy ease all of that F9. So that gives it, that'll give it a little bit of a, like he's turning his head sideways along with front and back. So and the reason we kept the side of the glasses separate from the eyeglasses is so as the head turns, the side of the glasses will show less. So we need to move this to the right just a little bit as his head is rotating. So glasses side position keyframes on 0, 11, and 22. And we'll drag it to the right. Looks like our eyebrows are connected to the side of the glasses, so we don't want that. So let's change the eyebrows to be connected to the mustache instead. There's right here. All right, so glasses side. Just a little tiny bit, and we will easy ease that, copy and paste. another thing we can do to give it a little bit of three-dimensional feel is the ears. So we will move the left ear to the left a little bit. On these same points, 0 and 22, we're going to move it left. Okay. And we'll do the same thing with the right ear. Position 0, 11, 22. And this ear is just going to pop out to the right a little bit as the head turns. Just a tiny bit. It's the small details that really make it give that realistic looking rotation. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay, so for doing the hair, it's a little bit more tricky. What we're gonna need to do is right click on the hair layer and create shapes from vector layer. And that will create outlines that you can adjust. This is how you hide layers. So if you wanna hide this layer that's now hidden, click this and then click this little guy right here, and that'll hide that. Okay, so what we need to do is adjust the path of the hair. So now that we created outlines, you'll see that we have these points. So go up here, type in path, and that'll automatically give you the one path layer that we have. Create a keyframe at 0, and again at 11, and again at 22. And what we're gonna do is grab the pen tool and option drag a box over these 3 points, and we're gonna just drag them that way a little bit as the head rotates. And then you're gonna copy this keyframe, paste it on the first frame. So we'll easy ease those and then copy and paste these like we have been doing, and you'll see the hair will kind of rotate along with the head. So now we have a problem with the lines. So we're gonna have to adjust those the same way. Hairlines, we're gonna create shapes from vector layer, and we'll do that same thing as before. Type in path, and there will be 5 different paths that we can adjust. Put points on 0, 11, and 22. We're creating keyframes. So first point, we're gonna adjust that so it's lined up with this. These can go this way a little bit, just a little bit, and just a little bit. So select all of these points and paste them on the beginning, and then like we've been doing, easy ease, copy, paste. Zoom out, see how that looks. It's very subtle, but it does give it that effect like his head is actually turning. So we will need to adjust the sideburn the same way. Okay, that looks good, and we will adjust the tattoo as well with position. Drag it to the left. tiny bit. Perfect. So I think the last thing that we need to do for the head is adjusting the ponytail, so as his head turns towards the camera, the ponytail will hide behind the back of his head. So we'll slide it to the right. So headband, where's that? Probably down here, headband. And we'll do position keyframes for the headband. Position at 0, 11, and 22. Drag it to the right. All right, so that looks good. And the last thing that we're gonna do is just give this a little bit of rotation, the ponytail. So we're gonna change the anchor point, put it right about there, and we will add some keyframes, rotation keyframes on 0, 11, and 22 again. And we're going to use that expression just to drag it to the left so it's delayed a little bit. Which way should that rotate? So he's turning, let's see. It's going to have to rotate down, so we're going to go to the left about -9. Let's see how that looks. We might have to adjust that. I'm not sure. Let's give it a little bit more rotation actually. Let's go up to 20, -20. And we can use that same expression that we used here. If you hit U while the layer selected, that'll bring up all of the keyframes that are within that layer. So now we can grab this expression again, copy that, and bring it down here onto the ponytail. Option click on this clock again, paste, click out, and we can drag this ponytail keyframes to the left. See how that looks? Let's give it a little bit more. I like that. Let's just bring down the rotation. I think -20 was a little bit too much, so we'll select 1, 3, and 5 keyframes. Let's just do -15, and then let's drag it back. That looks good. All right, so for the last step, we're gonna just create a new composition. Call it final. We gotta make it longer actually, composition settings. So we'll do, let's just say 1,000. And we will bring in the beat from the original composition, bring it in here, but now it's gonna be longer, not just the 44-second loop. And we'll bring in the composition, drag it on top, and actually we need to go back and shorten this composition to exactly 44 frames. So let's do composition settings, make it exactly 44, and now we can go into the final composition, mute that. The audio should be lined up already, and what we need to do is right click on, that's my dog Wallace. So we need to right click on this top layer, go over to time, enable time remapping, and the trick to looping this thing up is going to this 44th frame here, hit command left arrow, and we'll be on frame 43. Create a keyframe right there, and then what you're gonna do is select the first keyframe, command C, go back to your 44th keyframe and paste that one right there. And then you're gonna go over to the stopwatch option, click on there, hit this little arrow and go to property, loop out, and click on that. And then you can just drag this out and it'll loop. So let's see how that looks. There you go. That's how you animate a character after designing it in Illustrator. If you guys enjoyed that tutorial, make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Peace.